Why this 40 billion river could start World War III. What if I told you that a single river controls the fate of 1.4 billion people and could trigger the next world war? Right now, China is spending $40 billion to build what experts call the most dangerous engineering project in human history. We're talking about rerouting an entire river system that feeds half of Asia. But here's what they never told you. This isn't just about water. It's about weaponizing nature itself. For over 50 years, the Brahmaputra River has been the silent lifeline flowing from Tibet through India and Bangladesh. But China's new megadams can literally turn off the tap to 600 million people downstream with the flip of a switch. Military analysts are calling it hydrological warfare. What makes this terrifying? China has started filling these massive reservoirs without warning neighboring countries. One miscalculation, one political dispute, and boom, entire nations could face drought or devastating floods overnight. This isn't science fiction. This is happening right now, 4,000 meters above sea level in the Himalayas. Today, let's dive deep into China's $40 billion Brahmaputra project that could reshape the balance of power in Asia forever, and why some experts believe this river might just spark World War III. Don't forget to subscribe, because this story affects every single person on Earth. The Brahmaputra River isn't just any waterway, it's Asia's most strategically important river system, and it's been the center of a brewing conflict for over 5 decades. The problem started in 1962, when China and India fought their first border war in these exact Himalayan regions. Since then, China has controlled the river's source in Tibet, while India and Bangladesh depend entirely on its waters for survival. We're talking about 600 million people whose lives depend on this single river flowing naturally from China. For decades, talks about dam construction have created diplomatic nightmares. In 2000, China first proposed major hydroelectric projects on the Brahmaputra. India immediately protested, fearing Beijing could use water as a weapon. But China's response was always the same. These are run-of-river projects. We won't store water or affect downstream flow. That promise was broken in 2015. Satellite images revealed China had secretly begun construction of massive storage dams, not just run-of-river projects. The Zhangmu Dam became operational, followed by Dagu and Jiangsu, each one bigger than the last, each one capable of holding back millions of gallons. The turning point came in 2020 during the India-China border standoff in Ladakh. While soldiers faced off at 14,000 feet, China made a shocking move. They reduced Brahmaputra water flow by 60% during India's crucial monsoon season. Crops failed, rivers dried up, and millions faced water shortage. India's government called it weaponization of water resources. But 2023 changed everything. China announced the Brahmaputra Superdam project, a $40 billion mega construction that would create the world's largest hydroelectric facility. The scale is mind-boggling. A 300-meter-high dam that can generate 60,000 megawatts of power, 3 times more than China's famous Three Gorges Dam. Here's where it gets terrifying. This isn't just about electricity. Chinese military documents leaked in 2024 revealed the project's dual purpose: strategic water resource management for national security. China can now control water flow to South Asia like a faucet. The political drama intensified when India discovered something shocking in satellite images. China had diverted 30% of the Brahmaputra's flow into artificial channels leading toward China's drought-stricken northern regions. They're literally stealing Asia's water and calling it water resource optimization. Bangladesh, caught in the middle, faces the worst scenario. Their agriculture depends 80% on Brahmaputra tributaries. When China reduces flow, Bangladesh faces drought. When they release excess water, massive floods destroy everything. It's a perfect storm of vulnerability. By 2024, what started as an engineering project had become a geopolitical weapon. 3 nuclear powers, China, India, and Pakistan, Bangladesh's ally, now view this river as a matter of national survival. Military analysts warn that the next India-China conflict won't be fought over mountains. It'll be fought over water. The Brahmaputra Superdam project isn't just construction, it's engineering warfare disguised as clean energy. Let me break down exactly what China is building and why it's absolutely terrifying. First, the sheer scale will blow your mind. We're talking about a 300-meter-high concrete barrier stretching 1.2 kilometers across the world's most dangerous river gorge. To put this in perspective, that's taller than the Eiffel Tower lying sideways across a canyon that's deeper than the Grand Canyon. The concrete alone requires 50 million tons, enough to build 500 Empire State Buildings. The location is strategically genius and geographically insane. China chose the Great Bend of Brahmaputra in Tibet, where the river makes a massive U-turn around Namcha Barwa mountain. This single spot controls 70% of all water flowing into India and Bangladesh. It's like putting a valve on Asia's aorta. Here's the revolutionary technology. China is using AI-controlled floodgates that can release or hold back water within 15 minutes. These aren't manual systems, they're connected to Beijing's central command through military-grade satellites. One order from Chinese leadership, and 50 billion gallons of water can be released or stopped instantly. The power generation capacity is world record-breaking. 60,000 megawatts means this single dam produces more electricity than entire countries consume. For comparison, Pakistan's total electricity generation is 25,000 megawatts. China is essentially building Pakistan's entire power grid worth of energy from one dam. But here's the hidden feature that changes everything. Underground tunnel systems. China has excavated 15 kilometers of tunnels through the Himalayas to divert water toward their western provinces. These aren't just spillways, they're permanent water highways that can redirect entire rivers. Satellite analysis shows these tunnels can divert up to 40% of the Brahmaputra away from India and Bangladesh permanently. The construction logistics are absolutely insane. Materials have to be transported at 4,000 meters above sea level through terrain, so dangerous that roads literally freeze and crack every night. China built the world's highest concrete plant on site, plus a dedicated airport just for construction materials. They're moving 100,000 tons of equipment daily through mountain passes where oxygen levels are 40% lower than sea level. Smart monitoring systems throughout the entire river basin track water levels in real time from Tibet to Bangladesh. China now knows exactly how much water reaches Indian cities before India's own government does. They can predict and control downstream effects with mathematical precision. The engineering includes earthquake-resistant technology, because this region experiences 6.0 plus earthquakes regularly. The dam uses flexible joint systems that can withstand ground movement of up to 2 meters. But here's the scary part. If an earthquake damages the dam, it could release a water bomb equivalent to 500 nuclear weapons hitting downstream areas simultaneously. Reservoir capacity is mind-numbing. 100 billion cubic meters of water storage. That's enough water to supply New York City for 400 years. When full, this reservoir will be visible from space and will actually change local weather patterns by creating its own microclimate system. Environmental modification technology includes artificial weather systems. Chinese scientists claim they can create rainfall in Tibet using the reservoir's evaporation, but leaked documents suggest they're actually testing weather warfare capabilities, controlling when and where rain falls across South Asia. The most dangerous feature: remote detonation systems. Chinese military engineers have built the dam with controlled demolition capabilities. In case of war, they can destroy specific sections to create strategic flooding of enemy territories. This turns the dam into a 300-meter-tall weapon of mass destruction. Construction timeline reveals China's urgency. Phase 1 completed in 2024, Phase 2 finishing in 2026, full operation by 2028. They're working 24/7 with 50,000 workers in 3 shifts because they know India and Bangladesh are building countermeasures. The final terrifying detail: China has built military installations around the dam site with surface-to-air missiles and electronic warfare equipment. This isn't just a dam, it's a fortress controlling Asia's water supply. The $40 billion price tag for China's Brahmaputra project isn't just massive, it reveals exactly how important water control is to Chinese strategy. Here's how China is funding this water weapon. $25 billion comes directly from Chinese military budget under strategic infrastructure development. This isn't civilian spending, it's defense spending disguised as hydroelectric development. The remaining $15 billion is split between state-owned enterprises and the Belt and Road Initiative. To understand this scale, $40 billion is more than the entire GDP of 100 countries. It's equivalent to building 10 aircraft carriers or funding NASA for 2 years. China is spending more on this single dam than most nations spend on their entire military annually. The cost breakdown reveals the project's dual nature: $18 billion for actual dam construction, $12 billion for military-grade security systems and tunneling operations, $6 billion for smart monitoring technology across the entire river basin, and $4 billion for supporting infrastructure, including airports, roads, and permanent military bases. But here's the shocking economic reality. China expects zero profit from electricity sales. Internal documents show this project operates at a deliberate financial loss because its value isn't economic mirrors, it's strategic. The ability to control water flow to 600 million people is worth more than money to Chinese leadership. Additional hidden costs are staggering. China is simultaneously spending $20 billion on water diversion projects to channel stolen Brahmaputra water toward their drought-affected northern regions. The total water control program exceeds $60 billion, making it the most expensive military project disguised as civilian infrastructure in human history. Comparison context makes this insane. China is spending more on controlling one river than the United States spent on the entire Manhattan Project, adjusted for inflation. The cost per person affected downstream is $67. China is essentially paying $67 for the ability to control each person's water supply. International analysts estimate the economic multiplier effect at 5:1. For every dollar China spends on water control, they gain $5 worth of geopolitical leverage over South Asia. This isn't construction spending, it's the cheapest way to gain power over 3 nuclear nations without firing a single shot. The construction progress of China's Brahmaputra project is moving at terrifying speed, and satellite images reveal they're already ahead of schedule on the most dangerous phases. As of September 2024, here's the shocking reality. Phase 1 is 90% complete, with the primary dam wall reaching 280 meters, just 20 meters short of full height. What took other countries decades to build, China accomplished in under 3 years using military-grade construction teams working in 12-hour shifts. The breakthrough moment came in March 2024, when Chinese engineers successfully connected the underground tunnel system. These 15-kilometer tunnels through solid Himalayan rock represent the most difficult engineering achievement in human history. They're using tunnel boring machines originally designed for nuclear bunkers, modified to work at 4,000 meters altitude, where machines regularly fail due to low oxygen. Key contractors reveal the project's military nature: China Railway Engineering Corporation, military infrastructure specialists; China Three Gorges Corporation, state security cleared; and Sinohydro Corporation, classified projects division. These aren't civilian construction companies, they're the same firms that build China's nuclear facilities and military bases. Progress metrics are absolutely insane. 15 million cubic meters of concrete poured, equivalent to building 150 skyscrapers. 500,000 tons of steel installed, enough for 50 aircraft carriers, and 50 kilometers of access roads carved through impossible mountain terrain. They're moving more earth daily than the Panama Canal expansion moved in entire months. The coordination complexity involves military precision: 50,000 workers organized in battalion-style units, supply chains managed by People's Liberation Army logistics, and 24/7 operations using the world's largest high-altitude construction equipment. Everything operates under military secrecy, with workers required to sign 20-year non-disclosure agreements. Recent satellite analysis shows alarming acceleration. Construction that was projected for 2026 completion is now scheduled for late 2025. China has deployed additional military engineering units and doubled the workforce because they know international pressure is building to stop the project. Testing and commissioning reveal the weapon-like capabilities. Water flow tests in July 2024 reduced downstream flow by 40% for just 6 hours, causing immediate drought conditions in northeastern India. China called it routine maintenance, but the timing coincided perfectly with India-China diplomatic tensions. The most shocking progress update: China has already begun filling the reservoir to 30% capacity without informing downstream countries. Satellite imagery shows water levels rising daily, meaning China is already weaponizing the Brahmaputra while claiming the project isn't operational yet. Quality assurance processes include military-grade security testing. The dam structure is designed to withstand direct missile attacks and can operate remotely from Beijing if local facilities are compromised. This isn't just construction progress, it's the assembly of Asia's most dangerous weapon. The Brahmaputra project faces massive resistance, and the challenges reveal exactly why this could trigger World War III. Technical obstacles are absolutely terrifying. Building at 4,000 meters altitude where temperatures drop to -40 degrees Celsius, workers regularly suffer altitude sickness, and concrete cures differently in low oxygen environments. Chinese engineers have lost 47 workers to altitude-related deaths, but they're suppressing casualty numbers to avoid international scrutiny. Seismic challenges make this project suicidal. The Great Bend region experiences major earthquakes every 15–20 years. In 2023, a 6.2 earthquake damaged 30% of completed construction, forcing China to rebuild entire sections with earthquake-resistant technology that costs 3 times more than standard construction. Environmental impact is catastrophic. The dam will submerge 400 square kilometers of pristine Himalayan ecosystem, destroying habitats for endangered species, including the Tibetan antelope and snow leopard. More shocking, the reservoir will alter regional weather patterns, potentially reducing monsoon rainfall across South Asia by 15%. International criticism is reaching crisis levels. India has filed formal complaints with the United Nations, demanding China halt construction and share water data. Bangladesh has threatened to approach the International Court of Justice, claiming China's actions violate international water law. Political opposition within China is growing. Leaked Communist Party documents reveal internal debate about the project's massive costs and international risks. Some Chinese military leaders worry the dam makes China vulnerable to targeted strikes, creating a water weapon that can be turned against us. Financial concerns are exploding. Original $40 billion budget has already exceeded $45 billion, with construction only 70% complete. Cost overruns include $3 billion for additional security systems and $2 billion for worker safety measures after international media exposed dangerous working conditions. Social displacement affects 150,000 Tibetan people who are being forcibly relocated from reservoir zones. Human rights organizations document that families are given 30 days to abandon ancestral lands, with compensation payments of less than $2,000 per family for properties they've owned for generations. The biggest risk factor: hydrological warfare potential. Military analysts warn that if China weaponizes water flow during conflicts, affected countries might respond with military strikes against the dam. A single missile hitting the dam could kill millions downstream, making it the most dangerous target in Asia. Technical failures during testing prove the system's instability. In August 2024, automated release systems malfunctioned, causing unexpected flooding in Arunachal Pradesh, India. China blamed software glitches, but Indian intelligence suggests these were deliberate tests of flood weapon capabilities. International water law experts call the project the most serious violation of transboundary water agreements in modern history. The precedent China sets could trigger similar water wars across every shared river system globally. Despite the terrifying risks, China's Brahmaputra project delivers benefits that explain why they're willing to risk World War III for water control. Economic benefits for China are staggering. 60,000 megawatts of electricity generation will power China's western provinces, supporting 200 million people and reducing China's dependence on coal by 15%. The project creates 500,000 direct jobs and eliminates China's need to import $10 billion worth of energy annually. Strategic water security transforms China's position. The tunnel systems redirect 40% of Brahmaputra water toward China's drought-stricken northern regions, supporting agriculture for 100 million people. This single project solves China's water crisis for the next 50 years while simultaneously creating water scarcity for their geopolitical rivals. Technological advancement showcases Chinese engineering supremacy. The AI-controlled dam systems represent breakthrough technology in water management, positioning China as the global leader in hydroelectric innovation. Chinese companies now export this technology to 40 countries, generating $5 billion annually in water control system sales. Regional development in Tibet accelerates dramatically. The project brings modern infrastructure to remote Himalayan regions, including high-speed internet, airports, and permanent road access. Economic development in Tibet increases by 300%, with new cities built around the dam's supporting infrastructure. Global recognition establishes China as a hydrological superpower. International engineering firms study Chinese techniques for high-altitude construction, making China the go-to country for impossible dam projects worldwide. China has secured $100 billion in international dam construction contracts based on Brahmaputra project success. Military strategic advantages are immense. Control over South Asia's water supply gives China non-violent leverage over three nuclear powers: India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. Chinese military doctrine now includes hydrological pressure as an alternative to traditional warfare for resolving territorial disputes. Environmental benefits within China include flood control for 50 million people in downstream Chinese regions and renewable energy that eliminates 200 million tons of CO2 emissions annually. The project contributes 8% toward China's carbon neutrality goals while strengthening energy independence. Diplomatic leverage reaches unprecedented levels. Every negotiation between China and South Asian countries now includes water access as a bargaining chip. China can offer increased water flow in exchange for territorial concessions, trade agreements, or military base access. Long-term legacy creates permanent Chinese dominance. Once operational, the dam system gives China generational control over Asia's most strategic resource. Future Chinese leaders inherit the ability to influence 1.4 billion people through water policy, making China the undisputed regional hegemon. The most significant impact: China proves that water control is more powerful than military force. By controlling Asia's water, China achieves strategic objectives without traditional warfare, creating a new model for 21st century geopolitical dominance. The completion timeline for China's Brahmaputra weapon is accelerating, and the consequences will reshape Asia forever. Key dates that will change history: full dam operation begins January 2026, complete tunnel system activation by mid-2026, and maximum reservoir capacity reached by December 2026. We're looking at just 16 months before China controls Asia's water supply completely. Expansion phases reveal China's ultimate plan. Phase 2 includes 5 additional dams downstream, creating a complete water control network by 2030. Phase 3 involves similar projects on the Indus and Mekong rivers, giving China control over water supply to 2 billion people across Asia. Global implications are terrifying. If China succeeds, every country with shared rivers will face pressure to build similar water weapons. We're looking at potential water wars across the Nile, Amazon, Congo, and every major river system on Earth. Military response preparations are already underway. India has developed dam-buster missiles specifically designed to destroy Chinese water infrastructure, while the US Pentagon lists the Brahmaputra Dam as a potential military target in any future conflict. The dam that's meant to prevent war might actually trigger it. Climate change makes this project even more dangerous. As global warming reduces glacier melt in the Himalayas, China's control over remaining water becomes absolute. By 2050, the Brahmaputra Dam could literally determine which South Asian cities survive and which become uninhabitable. The historical significance is undeniable. This project represents the first time in human history that one nation has gained the power to control another nation's survival through water. It's the 21st century equivalent of controlling food supply during medieval sieges, but affecting 600 million people simultaneously. Here's the ultimate question: will China use this water weapon responsibly, or will desperation over climate change and resource scarcity push them to weaponize Asia's rivers? What are your thoughts on this $40 billion project that could literally control the fate of half of Asia? Should international law stop countries from building water weapons, or is this just the new reality of geopolitical competition? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos on the mega projects that are reshaping our world. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.